country, talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. And I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King saying, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepped into the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. Yeah. One more time. I want to say it real slow. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up. Then I went on by backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. When I God has smiled on me, he has set me free. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to scream, y'all. I want to scream, y'all. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's so good to me. Let me tell you, God has everybody, sometimes, God Almighty, I feel so good. Oh yeah, one more time. Yeah. Every day of my life, I feel it. You give me strength and energy. Help me to sing. He's been good to me. Oh, yeah. This is Reverend Al Sharpton of Brooklyn, New York. I've been traveling around the country talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say,
know what time it is? It's Al Sharpton's time. And for the next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all pretense, deception, denial, or front. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. And good morning to our West Coast listeners. Welcome to those listening on Sirius XM, Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk becomes power, where it empowers and becomes action. I'm coming to you live from our National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York, and you can join in the next 3 hours in this unique national conversation heard coast to coast and around parts of the world. And you can be heard. All you have to do is call us at 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, or you can go to our live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net and send a message on the message board like Cassandra D sent. Hi, Reverend Al. Hi, Cassandra. The Mayor Rodney Jones, says, good afternoon, my shepherd. Well, good afternoon, my birthday friend. He had a birthday Monday. Pamela King Harris says, happy Thursday, Reverend Al. Back at you, Pamela King Harris. So you can go, as they've already gone to the message board. I'm looking at Janet Overall, Muhammad Abdullah saying, afternoon, Reverend Sharpton, no justice, no peace. So people all over the country already on the message board and making calls because we have a lot to talk about. And I want your input, your opinions, your thoughts, your theories. There's nothing wrong on this show. It's just that we can sometimes disagree, but it doesn't make you wrong, doesn't make you right, doesn't make me wrong, doesn't make me right. It makes us understand what it is that is on the top of our minds and concerns. Well, let me give a few of the news items that you may or may not want to discuss. With all this talk about solving the Ukraine war and all that Donald Trump promised, Russia has launched a record drone attack on Ukraine after President Trump and Putin had a by all reports kind of volatile phone conversation. I guess Putin said, I can show you better than I can tell you, and hit Kyiv, and harder than they have with a drone attack in a while. Ukraine intercepted 718 of them, but 728 drones and 13 missiles were launched. So that seems to be escalating. And the tragedy in Texas, officials still have not said who did what in the early hours to figure out who's at fault for not warning more people in a more timely fashion. We also hear the Justice Department is targeting ex-FBI Director Comey and ex-CIA Chief Brennan over Trump investigations. Now, it's been announced, but neither one of them have been contacted. So there's no confirmation, but it seems like they are in the view or in the lenses of the Justice Department as part of Trump's revenge. And then 6 agents, Secret Service agents now, were suspended for security failures in the shooting in Butler when Donald Trump was shot. They've now suspended those 6 Secret Service. And I mentioned this yesterday, but I'll mention it again. Donald Trump said to the president of Liberia, "You speak such good English. Where did you learn English?" We learned it when y'all colonized Liberia. It's the official language there. That's when we learned. I mean, it was little revealing for those that need more revealing of how disconnected from what's happening with our community across the diaspora, and how he is not well briefed. Imagine now you sitting with heads of states and from Africa, and you don't know that Liberia, major country in Africa, was settled by Americans, and English was the official language, and still is. Because you're looking at a black man from Africa, and he got to be some kind of, in the minds of Donald Trump and them, some kind of less than smart person. That's the takeaway from that. A federal judge, by the way, in New Hampshire has blocked the Trump administration from enforcing the executive order on birthright citizenship. You remember he had done an executive order stopping birthright citizenship if people were born here, even if their parents were not from here, not legal. You're born here, you're automatic citizen. Trump did an executive order to uproot that, and Judge LaPlante certified a challenge on Thursday from the American Civil Liberties Union as a class action lawsuit, and granted the judge granted a preliminary injunction. Now, the ruling from the judge comes after the Supreme Court had curtailed judges' abilities to issue nationwide injunctions, but, and this is important, but left a door open for challenges to receive relief by filing class action lawsuits, and that's what they did here. So we're going to break down what that could mean. And birthright citizenship is certainly something, it goes back to Donald Trump's favorite president, Andrew Jackson, where we established that blacks born in this country were citizens, and went to the 14th Amendment because they had said no, blacks were not bound, the Dred Scott decision, to rights anyone was bound to respect. So there's not an immigration issue alone. It is that, but it's also an issue that involves the black community, no doubt about it. And I think that we need to get into all of this. Kennedy Marie Shabazz says, Reverend Sharpton, I can't understand when Trump and his mega started writing Project 2025, the Democrats knew about it, talked about why didn't the Democrats make plans years ago to put things in place. Did they think Trump was just talking and nobody believed him? Looked like Democrats did not put things in their toolbox. They knew that was coming. I just wanted to know what happened. I think that you, in your question, inherent in the question is the answer, Kennedy. I think that they underestimated them. I think that they underestimated the bias in this country that would go with him. I think a lot of people in our community, some black men that voted for Trump felt, oh, he's just acting like that, and really didn't think he would do what he has done. He's only been in now, 3-4 months, and has cut Medicaid, has ended SNAP, has changed voting laws, has changed birthright citizenship. And y'all thought he was just talking, some entertainer, some clown. Well, that's what he wanted y'all to think. And he ain't the brightest bulb in the drawer, but he's the one going to light up what's going on in this country. And we got to fight back and fight back with all we have, because as you see the Senate, which is majority Republican, and the House of Representatives, which is majority Republican, they're afraid to stand up to him because he said, I'll give you a primary. I'll come at you. And I think that it is unbelievable how much cowardice we're seeing. My thing is, people say, well, you know, Democrats shouldn't do this, that, that. My thing, if you did not want to fight, you shouldn't have got in the ring. If you're in the ring, swing, fight, or step out the way and let some of us that are not scared go ahead and do this fight. Let's take a break and we'll open up the phones and read your messages. 1-877-532-5797, Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back.
Hello, New Orleans. Let me tell you straight. They did not think we could come and be here tonight. They cut budgets and advertising, but one black man, Rich Newton, said, I don't care. My families come together every 4th of July weekend, and Essence will happen, because that's who we are. Give a big hand to Rich Newton for bringing us back. Because the essence of who we are is essential to what made this nation. We built this nation. We made this nation. We created the essential dollars that this nation lives off of. We don't care what bill they pass. We will not back up. We will not back down. We will not give in. We will not be chased out. We don't care who's in the White House. We will organize our house, house by house. We came over the Middle Passage. We survived slavery. We survived Jim Crow. Don't you give up now. Don't you turn back now. Stand up, black man. Stand up, black woman. Reclaim your dignity. Reclaim your place. So we stand with the Global Black Economic Forum. We stand with Essence Magazine because that's who we are. So don't give in now. Yes, there's some rough days, but we've been through rougher days than this. Yes, Trump is a bad dude, but we beat badder dudes than Trump. So let's party with a purpose, because our rhythm and our music reminds us who we are, because we can smile through our pain and organize for our gain. Let's stand up and let's celebrate who we are. Thank you, God bless you.
It's been a long time coming, but I know
1968, Dr. Martin King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee, and it has been the
your dream today.
Rev, you know, you were right there
From the beginning.
with the stuff that
Yep.
was going on in Brooklyn at
Yeah.
that time, at
Yeah.
Howard Beach. You were right there.
He had in one of the early movies, he had my name. Then he put me in Malcolm, and I wasn't even old enough to know Malcolm. So we've been through it all.
For those who see Malcolm X, it's 3 hours. But fast forward to the scene yourself,
Yep.
Bobby Seale.
Right. Bobby Seale, Denzel, and me.
Yeah.
Denzel was on the set.
Now, let me ask a question.
Yep.
What was your weight on that scene?
Probably about 270. I was bigger then.
Yeah.
Still had the hair,
And
man.
you had the head on.
Yeah, it was.
Denzel, yourself, and Bobby Seale.
Yeah, all in one scene.
And also, there was no cut. We went like this.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Only Spike could have done that.
It's my brother right here.
My baby.
Brooklyn's in the house.
Yes, sir.
Brooklyn's in the house.
BK.
The transition to coaching and running the basketball, president of operations of a major university like the University of New Orleans. So this is a blessing, and I'm thankful and I'm grateful, and I'm gonna lead our people and our culture to something that they've never seen, because this is about education. So education changed my life and saved my life, and to be able to be here with you guys, just let me know I'm just keep growing, and I'm on that process. I'm on that journey.
Well, we're proud of you. You've always been one that was more entrepreneur than entertainer.
Yeah.
And now you have the official title. So we in the Civil Rights Leadership are proud of you. You always been a master to us. Now you're a master.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, Support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online. www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.
You're live, sir.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Keeping it real. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Or you can go to live stream at National Action Network and send me a message. I can see Linda Chilton, I believe it is, saying, Rev, I live in Flint, Michigan. The water is not fixed even when Obama sent $94 million. None was done to help the residents. We have a black mayor, black state representative, Democrat governor, and no one is helping the poor in Flint. The settlement we won with the lawyers. I'm going to have to get back in Flint then. I'm going to give Reverend Williams about that. Absolutely outrageous. Flint, Michigan is listening. We need to get on that. Alice Johnson is saying, good evening, Reverend Sharpton, all the way from Houma, Louisiana. All right, Louisiana checking in. And Jose Vidrio, is that Vidrio Jr. says, good morning from Los Angeles. Well, good morning back at you. People all over the country are tuned in, and that's a good thing. I want to hear from various parts of the country. Let me say before I go further, give my announcements, 1-877-532-5797. Don't forget, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. I'll be on 5 o'clock this Saturday and Sunday, live from New York both days. I took one day from New Orleans last weekend, and I'm going to have the best and the brightest. We're going to dig deep into these. I want to deal with this whole thing of what's causing these floods and who's responsible. I want to dig into this birthright, citizenship. I want to get into this Donald Trump offending, insulting African leaders. A lot I got to deal with this weekend on the show, and I'm going to have members of the Senate and the Congress on. Make sure you tune in 5 p.m. Eastern Time, both Saturday and Sunday. You're not going to want to miss it. A guy stopped me the other day and said to me, I hear you on the radio telling me don't miss it, and I just hadn't turned it on. And people at my job be talking on Monday about what you said on Saturday, what you said on Sunday. It made me feel out of place. So now I'm going to go ahead I'm going to go ahead and listen to the show and watch the show. I said, that's a smart thing to do. You that are in the New York area, you that are in the New Jersey area, you that are in the Connecticut area, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally at the House of Justice, 106 West 145th Street in the Village of Harlem. 106 West 145th Street in the Village of Harlem. And that's 145th and Lenox Avenue. 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. I'll be there this Saturday and every Saturday leading up to the big march on Wall Street on August 28th. So meet me there. Be in the house. You that are not in the New York area, you can watch it live on Impact Television. All right, let's go to the phone. Let me start in Waldorf, Maryland, with Brother Carlos. Brother Carlos.
Good afternoon, my dear brother. It's been a long time since I have dialogued with you, and I appreciate your dedication and your ability to be the point of the spear for us in our struggle and the fight for our aspirations. However, let me say to you, my dear brother, that after much deep introspection and deep reflection, I am in the state of mind as Frederick Douglass was when he gave his famous speech in 1852 on what to the slave is what to the slave is the 4th of July. And I want to paraphrase and say, what to the American citizen, including us as a Negro, is the Constitution of the United States? Is it fish paper that we simply put out there to wrap our fish in? Or is it toilet tissue that can be used and flushed down the toilet? And I'm saying that because we can have a 10-pot dictator, convicted felon, can come along and rip to shreds that Constitution and all of its particular dialectic in the blink of an eye. And so I ask you, my dear brother, as John Henry Clark has pontificated to us, and he said to us that the European American, which I say Donald Trump is, never believed in democracy, never believed in Christianity, and has never practiced that in his terror across the world and our communities. So I have to say, what does the Constitution mean to us?
Well, let me answer you. I think that sounds poetic and nice the way you say it. But the fact is that what it means to us is what we make it mean. And I think that a lot of us can philosophize and pontificate, as you say, but we've got to exist, and therefore we've got to fight and make the things that we have gained stick, and the things that they're taking away, we got to fight and get it back. It always amazes me how a lot of us can eloquently describe our condition and then never end it but, saying, well, therefore so and so and so, and therefore so and so, and therefore so and so. Okay, but what are we going to do about it? And that is what I think we need to fight. I was Brother Carlos at an event maybe 6 months ago, and a guy got up and gave this whole long speech about America's not with the never been a democracy and this, that, and the other. And I agreed with him. And he says, I don't know how we're going to depend on a system and da, 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 da. And I said, well, I agree with you that America's never been a democracy. But what do you mean believe in a system? We're under a system that we've got to resist. And he kept going back and forth. I said, well, let me ask you a question. I work at National Action Network, black organization. Where do you work? He said, I work at the University of so-and-so. I said, that's a state school, right? He said, yeah. So you work for the state, but you telling people that don't fight the state to do other things? You're a state employee. And he just put his head down. So, I think that a lot of us need to deal with the reality of what people have to live with. And some of us are too smart for our own good. yes, the Constitution is nothing if we allow it to be nothing. But some of us got out there and fought and pushed some things through, which are literally the things that we have to fight now to maintain SNAP, to maintain Medicaid. Because a lot of our people would be dead if they didn't have Medicaid. And a lot of our people would have starved, including me when I grew up on welfare. So I don't think I have the luxury of telling people to just suffer and listen to my brilliance rather than fight to try to solve some of the problems. Yes, the decks are stacked against us. They always have, which is why we got to fight back. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
Encourage us, because where we are, we need guidance, we need direction. Reverend Sharpton, if you could please guide us and say a few words, because we just must. There's no way you're entering this.
Baku is so special to all of us. And what has happened this week, let me tell you, Baku and Rich Dennis and the rest will not tell you, against all obstacles, they said we're going to make this happen. I was here 31 years ago when Essence Music Festival started. I've spoken at every one for 31 years. They wanted to stop this. They ended DEI. But just because they ended DEI, we will not DIE. We are indebted to these sisters because they reconnect us. You are strong not by your branches, you are strong by your roots. And the reason that this will survive is the roots that they have brought us from the motherland. Tell us that we're stronger than the waters that we had to pass over. And if we go back to the roots, we can take the waves and the storms of the ocean, because God brought us here to save the human race. And that's why we're here. God bless Baku, bless you, sister. Bless Reverend Jasmine Crockett and all of you that are here tonight. Be the new thing. This is not about likes on Facebook. This is about changes in our society. We got a hostile bigot in the White House, and we don't need a popularity contest. We need people that are grounded and rooted in this and gonna fight with all they got. Jesus went up on the mountain and told his disciples. Reverend Toon said, y'all pray with me. They went to sleep. And when they looked up, they say that he had gone up on the mountain. They termed transfiguration. Is that in the book? And he was talking to Moses and Elijah. If Jesus had to talk to those that preceded him, then how you so brilliant you ain't got to talk to nobody? So as we embark on dealing with this DEI fight, I wanted to read, I studied all week. What would Dr. King be saying? What would Reverend Jackson be saying? That's what we do. This ain't a Sharpton thing or whoever thing. This is a thing in continuity. If Dr. King can shut down the Montgomery bus boycott when we couldn't even ride the front of the bus, If Jesse Jackson could take on major corporations before we had cell phones, then we in our day can take these companies that want to say no DEI and shut them down, because we come out of a tradition and a lineage that can do that. No justice. No justice. No justice. What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom. Let my people go, go. We never shine, never shade. Give me up, Papa, go, rain, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water.
You're live. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Let's go to the phones. 1-877-532-5797. Let's go to Raul in California. Raul, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton. Keeping it real.
Yes, I am. Good morning. Just wanted to say thank you for all that you do, and your platform is awesome. I've been trying to get through, and I finally got through today. But I wanted to tell you a little bit. I'm going to have a few comments, and then I have a question for you at the end of my comments.
All right.
I live over here in California. I'm about 32 miles from the Mexico border. It's Mexicali, Mexico, and then you have Calexico, then the border wall. But in Imperial Valley, we grow all the lettuce, potatoes, green onion, whatever you all have in your salad, we grow it out here. And there was illegals coming over here to work, good people, hardworking people. When Trump, we start noticing when he went into office in January, we noticed that there was vans, unmarked SUVs, and all that going through the city over here. There's different cities that are here in the Imperial Valley that have the fields where they go and work. And we noticed that they were going around and starting to round up people. That's what he said he was going to do, get the illegals. Then now, fast forward, now they're starting to arrest and detain U.S. citizens. He's over here in Los Angeles, putting the Army, military people with the National Guard. And I think what his plan is to intimidate people and to also want people to start violence against him. That's his plan. We all know that when his birthday happened back in June and he had that military parade.
Right.
And man, that was such a beautiful day. We all came together as brothers and sisters and we were marching.
Right.
And that's what we got to keep doing. No violence, because that's what he wants. He wants violence. He's throwing the bait at you. But now what's concerning is that they're arresting, if you speak Spanish, you listen to Mexican music or whatever, they come and they don't care about your ID. You're coming with us, even though you're a U.S. citizen. We don't even know if they're ICE agents. They're just pulling up in vans with the ski mask but I need to let you know, Rev, and we're probably going to need your help with this. I have friends that work in they're correctional officers.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 3 prisons out here. There's one in the valley, it's Centinela, Sealy, California. There's also another one, Calipatria, California. And there's also one in Blythe, California. Now, these people that work there, they're my neighbors, they're friends of mine. And they're seeing a population of Hispanic people going up. I think it's like 28% now. And also the black population that is going up. So now that he cleaned up the streets with illegals, the farmer's going to need somebody to go out there and pick the produce and all that, right? So now what's going to happen next, what we're thinking his plan is, because they're moving people around from the prisons and they're bringing people over here. Different people from all over.
Right.
So we're thinking what this guy's going to do now, well, I guess the farmers can't hire anybody. He's going to start getting the people in the prison to go out there and chain gang. That it's obvious what he's doing. And it's working. Nobody's stopping him. And, you know, Rev, it's just heartbreaking. You know, to all the people who voted for him, you know, I respect you. But to all my Hispanic and black brothers and sisters that voted for him, that you said he's going to get you a job, he's going to make things right, look what he's doing. Look what's happened. He's only been in the office for 4 months. Now we're looking at, hey, you know what he's going to do? He's going to start his chain gang. He's going to bring that back, Rev. So we need people that have authority or people that have some kind of connections to see what's going on with that. But what a nightmare. And we're seeing it firsthand. Now, to everyone who's listening, this is going to be coming soon to your state or your city. This is a guinea pig that he's doing here in California, what he's doing. And he's doing it in the open. Look at the mayor that was just voted in.
Right.
On national TV, that he was going to have him deported. I'm going to have to look at just like Elon Musk, right? And he's saying it out loud, you guys. So, Red, we're going to need your help with this, if you can help us. And then keep up the good work. And like John Lewis said, right, we are all a light. And don't ever let no one dim your light, because you are somebody.
I love it.
Keep your light shining, and that's how I feel right now.
I definitely took time to listen to what you say, and I really, really, really think we need to get in deeply in this issue. So, yeah, you need to stay in touch with us. You need to get his numbers and let us maybe even go out there. So get that to me, Philip. But you're right. The beastly, inhumane way that they're treating people in the Mexican border, not the Canadian border. You have people coming in this country from Canada. You have people coming in this country from Europe. They brought 59 white Afrikaners from South Africa saying they were seeking refuge. It's a moral issue, and I think we ought to stand up for it. And I hear your appeal, Raul, and we're going to do some things around it. Thank you for your call. Let's go to Brian in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, WURD. Brian.
Reverend Al, there's that call. I just honor everything that man said. Thank you so much. I honor you, as you know. And I know it's not Black Music Month, but I just want to give honor to Prince, who brought me to consciousness. It was not Karl Marx. It was not a dead white man that made me conscious. It was Prince.
Wow.
And one song, which features a number that is in a lot of the numbers within your your phone number that we call in to keep it real is the number 7. And I just want everyone to remember the lyrics of the meditation that Prince wrote. The song 7. It says, "All 7, and we'll watch them fall. They stand in the way of love, and we will smoke them all. With an intellect and a savoir-faire, no one in the whole universe will ever compare. I am yours now, and you are mine, and together we'll love through space and time. So don't cry. One day all 7 will die." And Rev, I'm sorry, that was my intro. I felt it was important. I think it's also important to remember that when Prince was here on Earth, I believe he was a prophet, he platformed Beyonce, Kendrick Lamar, and Amy Winehouse. He did not ever platform Kanye West. Mm-hmm. And moving on from that, Rev, I just wanted to let you know I got off the phone prior to calling you with Congressman Richie Torres. He personally picked up the phone at his New York office. Mm-hmm. It was shocking. And I told him I've been urging National Action Network to reach out to him and others ahead of your march on Wall Street this August. And he was warm, receptive, and deeply respectful. And what stood out most was when he told me, and I quote, that he's been assuring constituents who've held outdated or problematic views of you that the Al Sharpton of 2025 has grown far beyond where he was 25 or 30 years ago. So he's out there actively defending your evolution and legacy. And I also brought up the idea that I pitched here a week or two ago about that interfaith town hall, or even better yet, a Netflix series where civil rights leaders like you, Bernice King, and Cheryl Eiffel sit down with imams, rabbis, and Christian clergy, and Jewish, Muslim, and Christian members of Congress and Senate to engage in honest, good faith dialogue about how terms like Zionism, jihad, and patriotism are being defined
and weaponized.
Because as I told Congressman Torres, we cannot let bad faith actors like Candace Piker or Tucker Carlson dominate the discourse.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said it. I'm going to call Richie Torres. Richie's a good guy. Thank you for your call. Thank you for saying that, Brian. Stay in touch with us. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back after this.
Keeping it real. Hello, New Orleans. Let me tell you straight. They did not think we could come and be here tonight. They cut budgets and advertising, but one black man, Rich Newton, said, I don't care. My families come together every 4th of July weekend, and Essence will happen, because that's who we are. Give a big hand to Rich New Dennis for bringing us back. Why do we come? Because the essence of who we are is essential to what made this nation. We built this nation. We made this nation. We created the essential dollars that this nation lives off of. We don't care what bill they pass. We will not back up. We will not back down. We will not give in. We will not be chased out. We don't care who's in the White House. We will organize our house by house. We came over the Middle Passage. We survived slavery. We survived Jim Crow. Don't you give up now. Don't you turn back now. Stand up, black man. Stand up, black woman. Reclaim your dignity. Reclaim your place. So we stand with the Global Black Economic Forum. We stand with Essence Magazine because that's who we are. So don't give in now. Yes, it's some rough days, but we've been through rougher days than this. Yes, Trump is a bad dude, but we beat badder dudes than Trump. So let's party with a purpose, because our rhythm and our music reminds us who we are, because we can smile through our pain and organize for our gain. Let's stand up and let's celebrate who we are. Thank you, God bless you.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you're very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They called me everything but a child of God.
Racial discord, a blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I
a race
had to
baiter.
learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are, and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor, who stayed right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
The transition to coaching and running a basketball, president of operations of a major university like the University of New Orleans. So this is a blessing, and I'm thankful and I'm grateful, and I'm gonna lead our people and our culture to something that they've never seen, because this is about education. So education changed my life, it saved my life, and to be able to be here with you guys, just let me know I'm just keep growing, and I'm on that process. I'm on that journey.
Well, we're proud of you. You've always been one that was more entrepreneur than entertainer, and now you have the official title. So we in the civil rights leadership were proud of you. You always been a master to us. Now you're a master. Keeping it real, keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, twitter.com, The Rev Al, twitter.com, The Rev Al. Don't forget, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC every Saturday, and Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, MSNBC. I'm lining up some great guests right now to deal with, even more important than the guests, with the issues. And you need to be tuned in every Saturday and Sunday. You that are in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, meet me at the Saturday Action Rally at the House of Justice in Harlem, 145th Street, Lenox Avenue, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. 2 hours. We let you go. Don't want to interfere with whatever you do for the weekend, but we need to enlighten, embrace, get each other's energy, and lay out our agenda. You that are not in the New York area can watch it live on Impact Television. And all roads lead to Wall Street. Why are we going to Wall Street, Reverend Al, on the anniversary of the March on Washington? Because the dream is being deferred on Wall Street. The big, beautiful bill, which is the big, ugly bill, is giving a tax cuts to the billionaires on Wall Street at the expense of people that are getting Medicaid cuts, people that are getting SNAP cuts. These are the people that we need to say, you can't hide behind the Republicans. You need to see us out there by the thousands saying, we are charging you to turn this around, or we're going to start singling each one of you out in 10 cities at a time. I'm not talking about some social media boycott. I'm talking about we put bodies in the street. We're going to lay it out on August 28th at the March on Wall Street, from the African Burial Ground 1 mile march to right there to the Bull on Wall Street, where we have our rally. Martin Luther King III and others will be with us. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, and sign up so we can send you information every week. And you that want to know if buses are leaving near you or whatever the case may be, we want you to be ready and present. Enough of this talk, enough of this philosophy, enough of this, I get all these radio revolutionaries and radio activists, and you're never there to hit the streets, never there to be a part of the history of this time. August 28th gives you that opportunity. You should make up your mind right now. This is just July 10th. You got a month and a half. Say, you know what? I'm going to be part of history. I wish my grandparents could have told me they were at the March on Washington in '63, which led to the '64 Civil Rights Act. I want my grandchildren to know I was on Wall Street standing up against what this man is doing to our community and other communities. All right, let's go back to the phone. Let me go to my dear friend in Chicago, and she is, of course, the beloved Miss Eunice. Miss Eunice, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Good afternoon, Rev. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. Rev, we lost a dear soul this week. Mother Lou Della Evans, the sister of Reverend Clay Evans. She was a great lady.
Well, is that right? Wow. I did not know
Yes,
that.
yes. And you know, Rev, that Raul was very touching, and so was that other guy. It's going on around this nation, and it's a shame the Republicans don't have any morals. They will go along with a person who you can see has an unstable mind and will stop at nothing to have his way. Now, they took an oath to serve and protect, and they have fallen short all the way. They sit there and make decisions to take away the needs of other people while they get all the health care and perks for their family, and they are living high on the hog at taxpayers' expenses. Do you think they will ever change?
I do not. I think we've got to change them, Miss Eunice.
Yeah, we've got to really fight. You know, we can't stop. And they're being used, and they don't have sense enough to know it. And Trump will be with them 1 minute, next minute he'll be calling them a dirty name. And you see what he did. He's talking about, what's this guy, Epstein? He sat there and called that man a creep, and you saw them where they were smiling and kicking it up. The press need to get a backbone. They're damned if they do and damned if they don't. He wants to get his point across. No one else could say anything, and then had the nerve to say that he's investigating Brennan and Comey, and I understand he had the people to tail Comey and his wife. This guy is the most dangerous person you've ever seen, and we didn't take heed from his niece, his nephew, nor Cohen and other people. And so I will talk to you next week, and you have a wonderful weekend.
And you as well, and give my condolences to the Evans family. Certainly, I respect and love that family. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Miss Eunice.
Sure.
All right,
Sure.
let me go
God
to
bless.
Don in New Orleans. Don? Is Don there?
Yeah. Now, how you doing? I hope that the hospitality and the mobility met your standard and get your endorsement for the Essence Festival next year. You've been there all 31 years, and we
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And I want to quickly, the brothers mentioned about 4th of July. What the 4th of July mean? What do July means anyway? The month of July was named after Julius Caesar, and August named after Caesar Augustus. And don't be surprised if June becomes Trumptober. But anyway, I want to celebrate and commemorate. Look, today is the 52nd Independence Day of the Bahamas. Even in the month of July, the Bahamas. We know many illustrious people come from Bahamas. The late Miles Monroe and his First Lady Ruth Monroe, Sidney Poitier,
right,
and Calvin Lockhart, born Bert Cooper,
right,
like the fighter,
right.
Yeah, and all the
I remember
basketball
Calvin
players
Lockhart, Prime Minister Pendling, I think was his name.
I know he played Reverend O'Malley in Cotton Comes to Harlem.
Right.
And Let's Do It Again.
Right.
With Bill Cosby and Sidney Poitier. Yeah. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, two organizations come to mind, of course, because without our professional ranks, our professional class, the middle class and the labor union class and the working class is very, very vital. But this organization was formed in 1895, right before Plessy versus Ferguson, separate but equal. That is the National Medical Association. Okay, not the American Medical Association. The American Medical Association discriminated against black doctors and allied professions, and that was one of the measurements that was used to organize the National Medical Association. Didn't discriminate against anyone, but it was mainly for black medical professionals and allied services. In 1895, that's 130 years ago. Now, coming up on August the 1st of this year, 2025, the NBA, not the National Basketball Association. We're very, very proud of the National Basketball Association and their format moving the agenda forward. Not the National Basketball Association, the National Bar Association.
Right.
For
I've spoken
black attorneys.
I've spoken at their convention several times. A very impressive group, national group. In fact,
Yes, sir.
Ben Crump was president a few years ago of the National Bar Association.
Yes, sir. And they will be commemorating, celebrating, and doing their usual outreach, celebrating 100 years on August the 1st of this year.
Oh, is that right?
2025. Yeah, and one of the soul sisters, Sister Mothers, now we talk about 1925, Reverend Al, one of the founders of the National Bar Association, not the American Bar Association, which is under pressure from the Trump administration to get rid of DEI. Now, we know the American Bar Association discriminated against black attorneys. And so, but nevertheless, one of the founding members, there are a dozen members, 12 members, was a sister named Gertrude Durden Root. And she was born in Navasota, Texas. She was one of the founding members of the National Bar Association, which was founded in guess of all states, Des Moines, Iowa.
Wow.
The same state that produced Dr. Carter G. Woods. I mean, that's called Dr. George Washington Carver. He graduated from Iowa State. And also Jack Trice, the stadium at Iowa State is named after Jack Trice, who played for Iowa State football in 1915. So, yeah, organization means everything to us because we know that the professional class separates us from being what many pundits would call a banana republic or a third world country. Professionals in Russia and communist countries are not recognized for what they do and to promote the general welfare and the common defense of our society, which is constitutional.
All right. I'll hear the break music. We got to go. Thank you for your call. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. More of you on the phones, 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back. I had a thought this morning that I want to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors. But there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones, who became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talents in my own unique way and let me do things on my own because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones, and too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they got to open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their own, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advisor to you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughter started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the doors open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people than you that you can help along the way. But don't be their talent agent. Their talent must speak for themselves. And anybody that grumbles with you about so-and-so didn't do something for them, maybe it's because they didn't feel you were ready, or that they felt if they did it, you wouldn't do it on your own. But we all don't live forever. I want the next generation to speak of me, of National Action Network, and others. The way I speak of Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington and Shirley Chisholm and Reverend Jackson. But I just don't want young people to feel that somebody ought to give them the reins of leadership or give them the reins of business or whatever it is you're in. You need to learn from their journey, get the pearls of wisdom from them, but don't have them do for you, because then it means you can't do it for yourself.
Let's do it. Couple eyes right here for me. 3, 2.
All right. I'll see you around, Rev. Okay. Let me know. Okay, you got it. Come on.
We've reduced a lot of our ministry to entertainment. Or who can hoop the loudest, who could run around the pulpit more, or who got the dresses dresses fancy and don't deal with the ministry. Jesus healed more people than he preached to. Because there is in the healing your message. They followed Jesus because he healed a woman with the issue of blood. They followed Jesus because Jesus saw a blind man named Bartimaeus. A lot of us would have dismissed him because he was a broke, poor, homeless, a blind man. How you know he was broke, Reverend? Because they say he was begging. But he understood what he was doing because he heard that Jesus was passing by. And when Jesus got close enough, he said, Jesus, son of David, come see about me. They kept telling Jesus, let's go, look, we got a schedule, we got people to see. He said it again, Jesus, son of David, come see about me. And when he did it the third time, Jesus stopped and went and healed the blind man. Now, what I get out of that scripture, Bishop Daughtry, is that the blind man told Jesus, if you are who you say you are, you're going to stop and see me. And if you stop and see me, you will confirm who you are. But when we are pastoring and leading in communities with bad health, we cannot be the followers and representatives of Jesus and walk by people that are sick and we not be part of making them well.
Keeping it real. You're live, sir.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and it is Thursday, so it is Policy Day on Keeping It Real with Al Sharpton, and that means we bring in our co-host every Thursday for the last hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes of the show, our policy wonk. She is, of course, the CEO of the Protestant Welfare Agencies in New York and the vice chairman of the National Board of National Action Network, Attorney Jennifer Jones Austin. How you doing, Jenny?
I'm doing well, doing well. Good to be with you, sir, and good to be with everybody who's listening and calling in.
Well, good to have you with us. Let me, before I want to get into this ruling today in New Hampshire by the federal judge saying that she put a block on the immigration, the birthright citizenship that Donald Trump has played.
Mm-hmm.
But before I break into that, I want to ask you to interpret for us the legality of the decision that the Internal Revenue has given in their answer as to the plaintiff, where they're now saying that churches can endorse political candidates. It has been, they said, not other nonprofits and foundations, but churches can. And heretofore, churches were not allowed to make formal endorsements. Now, many have come close to the line. You know, I can't tell y'all who to vote for, but my family's voting for so-and-so. People have nuanced it. But now it is a matter of the Internal Revenue Code or letter saying that churches are allowed to do that. And you and I, as vice chairman of the National Board and the chairman, and we're trying to get the head of ACLU, you are, and others, to interpret that, having a national Zoom call with ministers on Monday night. And I think that I want you to break it down, because part of the confusion for me is if the ruling is, or if the letter says the stand is the church can make an endorsement, what does that mean to pastor? Well, suppose if I'm a member of the church and the pastor makes an endorsement I disagree with, is that then down to a church vote? Because you can't say that if Pastor Jones endorses candidate A, and Sister Mary, who's in the church, said, well, I'm with candidate B. How does the church make that endorsement? Does their church vote on that? I mean, there's too many unanswered questions about this.
Yeah, it's almost becomes like a slippery slope, and it can create a whole lot of confusion in the church and even outside of the church. So, what we have to always remember first and mostly is that in the Constitution, there is the separation of church and state, which is in the First Amendment, which mainly focuses on, freedom of speech, right to assemble, as well as specifically not allowing the government to establish a state religion or endorsing any particular religion. And over the course of the years since the establishment of the First Amendment, there's always been this question about, well, what does it mean for the church to get involved in politics or for politics to be in the church setting? Back in the Lyndon B. Johnson years, Lyndon B. Johnson essentially passed a ruling that said that a tax code ruling that said that faith institutions could not endorse political candidates or they would risk losing their tax exempt status. Faith organizations are nonprofits, and all nonprofits are supposed to not actually get involved in politics or risk losing their nonprofits who are designated as 501c3s. So we've talked about this before, like NAN is a 501c4. That's a policy and advocacy organization. But nonprofits under a 501c3 designation, under which most faith institutions fall, are not to engage in politics. And Lyndon B. Johnson essentially passed this tax provision saying that if you do so, if you endorse a political candidate, you could actually lose your tax exempt status. Well, Trump doesn't like that, right? Probably because he wants faith institutions to endorse him. So he essentially, working with his IRS now, has figured out a way to actually now exclude faith institutions from this ruling, this tax code rule provision that says that you cannot endorse political candidates. So what does that look like now? It looks like essentially saying that faith leaders can, when speaking to their congregations, tell them who they believe, is the best political candidate for any office, federal, state, or local. And essentially, if they are kind of keeping it in the family, essentially what the IRS is likening this to is family members talking amongst themselves. Then the faith institution can endorse a candidate, can put it in writing to the congregation, quite possibly, can put it on like the, let's say like the big screen that you now see in churches giving news and announcements, can talk about it from the pulpit. What some people are saying is that it's just kind of doing what's already being done, that you do have pastors who stand in pulpits already and tell you kind of who you should vote for or who you shouldn't vote for. And so this in some ways is formalizing something that's already been done. There are people who are raising questions and concerns about how this could essentially create challenges, as you've just alluded to, Reverend Sharpton, if you have parishioners who don't agree with the pastor. But now it looks like the pastor is essentially telling the church and the congregants how they are to vote. It could create some challenges within the church, especially when you have parishioners maybe who they tithe or they give significant sums of money to the church. Might they now influence a pastor and a church to go a certain way with a certain candidate? The other thing that it may do and may cause is a situation where you've got churches that maybe receive funding from the government and from government leaders, and you could find them in a situation where now it could be like a pay to play, or a situation where if a church wants to continue receiving funding for a food pantry, a soup kitchen, a child care program, an elderly services program, aging people, seniors program, that maybe their money could be at risk if they don't endorse a particular candidate. Or let's say they do endorse a candidate and that candidate doesn't win. Could you have a situation now where the person who does win doesn't want to do business with the church? And so it's fraught with problems. You'll have issues of whether or not if a pastor's speaking out and speaking in support of somebody outside of the church, and maybe on a radio show or they're speaking publicly, might that cause a problem? Might they lose their tax exempt status that way? So it can be a real slippery slope.
Let me ask you then about the birthright citizenship decision out of New Hampshire. Let's take the break and go right into that, and then we have a lot of callers, and I'm going to have you go to each one of them. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton, Jones Austin, Policy Day on Keeping It Real. Be right back. Keeping It Real.
Country, talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If He woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepped into the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God doesn't smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. And I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. I said, now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I went home and I told my mother what Brown told me. And she said, son, even though we don't have much, we don't need relief, all we need is belief. And she said he didn't tell tell you no lie, because the Lord will take care of you. God sits high, but he looks down low. And every time you get discouraged, every time you're burning down, all you have to do is think of the things that God made a way for you and look toward the heavens. Lift your eyes to the hills and say, God, 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 don't smile on me. Now then the God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. That has been so good to me. Yes, he has. I say, God smile on me. He has set me free. And I know all over the country, smile on me. We need jobs. We need a way to make it. We need help. We need jobs. We need a way to make some money to feed our families and raise our bread. We need a way to survive, so we don't need crime as a survival kit. We just need a little bit. But don't give the hope up. Don't lose the faith, because God will smile on you. God will give you the strength. God will make a way for you. Adam Clay Powell said, keep the faith. Keep the faith, baby. I hear Robert Kennedy saying that it's not the dream of, but it's the dream that'll live on forever. Just know that God will smile on you. Dr. King had a dream. Dr. King said, I went to the mountaintop, but I didn't stop there. I looked over and saw the promised land. I hear Brother Malcolm saying, don't sit on the stoop. Stand up and be a man. Respect yourself. Be somebody. Then I hear the brothers in the Hispanic community say, I'm going to stand up and be a man. I'm going to do the best I can. I had a reaper say, I don't care what time you come home, but just give me some respect when you get there. Now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Sit down. And as we move on in history, let us remember that if we look to God, God has the answer to all of our problems. God is still the same God he was years ago, and we can still make it. We can still hold on like Frederick Douglass did. We can still keep him on like Martin Luther King did. We can still ride on the way everyone that made it did. They didn't have much, but they had a whole lot of faith. They didn't have money, but they had a lot of determination. We know that God will look out for his children, that God will make a way out of no way. If you just keep the faith and refuse to lose, and God will make a way, because God's children don't have color. God's children just have will. And I can still hear somewhere in my mind James Brown said,
keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Attorney Jennifer Jones Austin is our co-host. Attorney Jones Austin, give us the legal interpretation on the New Hampshire federal judge on the birthright citizenship issue. Just quickly break it down for us. I have a lot of calls, but I want people to understand what this decision means and what it does not mean.
Okay, so first and foremost, what it means is that the higher courts have still not yet ruled. The Supreme Court, there's no definitive decision on the birthright citizenship executive order that Donald Trump essentially signed back in January, saying that children born to illegal immigrants did not have citizenship status in America. It's always been the case since the amendment was passed, providing that an illegal immigrant's child actually is a citizen of America. Donald Trump has tried to get rid of that allowance under the law, under the Constitution. What happened today was the New Hampshire judge has now put in place once again a nationwide injunction. A few days ago, the Supreme Court ruled that you could not have nationwide injunctions on presidential executive orders, but only because the cases that were being brought forward concerned specific individual plaintiffs. What happened in New Hampshire was that what was brought forward was what we call a class action lawsuit. A class action lawsuit is a lawsuit. It's a case where you've got individuals who are considered class representatives, meaning that they sue on behalf of a larger group of people who become known as the class. And so what happened in this particular case is that the class is being designated as all children who would be affected by Donald Trump's executive order denying birthright citizenship. So when the U.S. Supreme Court looked at a birthright citizenship case a couple of weeks ago, they were looking at particular plaintiffs. And what they said is that you cannot put in place a nationwide injunction when you're talking about just a few specific individuals. What happened in New Hampshire was that the lawsuit that was brought was a class action lawsuit, saying that it would include all children who would be affected, who will be affected by the executive order denying birthright citizenship. And so because it concerns all children, and it's a class action, the injunction that has now been put in place can be nationwide because all children would be children being born around the United States. Now, Trump and his people have 7 days to appeal the injunction, but right now the injunction, would pertain to nationwide.
Now they could appeal and go back to the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court would not then rule on process. They would have to rule on the actual citizenship, the birthright citizenship, which they did not do in the first decision. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
All right, let's go to the phones. Let's take some calls. Let's start in Queens, New York, with the mayor, Mayor Rodney Jones. Mayor Rodney Jones, you're keeping it real with Sharpton and Jones Austin.
Good afternoon, my shepherd. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? Birthday, guys. His birthday was Monday, Jennifer.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, Miss Jones Austin. Thank you, Rev, for all the birthday acknowledgments. Listen, I was speaking to a young man who I think he's going to school for political science. He told me a scenario. Talk about the New York City mayor's race. So you have two independents. One is an incumbent. Then you have the primary winner from Don. So you gave me a scenario where when the election, the general election comes, if these three stay in the race, that they can cancel each other out, and Curtis Lee, who's the Republican, can win. Is that a factual thing that can happen?
Because that's not a factual thing. I do not think Curtis Sleeper will get enough votes to win. I do
in a blue city, right?
Well,
okay, go ahead.
right. But I do think that if Andrew Cuomo stays in, Eric Adams stays in, and Curtis Lee, those stay in as independents, and Curtis Lee stays in as the Republican candidate, that it is more than likely Zohran Mamdani wins. I think, according to the polls, he's going to win anyway. But I think that if there is a chance that those that are opposed to Zohran would have to win, they'd have to get this to where one of the independents drop out. And if they could get Curtis Lee to drop out and get the Republican line, the perfect setup, which does not guarantee a victory but gives a better odds, is if the Republicans gave Eric Adams their line and he kept his independent line and Cuomo dropped out. And I've called for Cuomo to drop out because he lost the primary by 12 points. Why is he in there? But so far, we've not seen Cuomo say he's not dropping out. And Sleeper said he wouldn't drop out unless he got hit by a Mack truck. Now, my thing is to people around the country, my thing is that if Eric Adams is as people are saying, got big favors from Trump, who his Justice Department dropped the indictment against Mayor Adams, that under the Biden administration is indicted, why can't the Trump people get Eric Adams, get Curtis Sliwa out? And I think it's a good question. Why can't people get Cuomo out? Now, people say, well, Eric is polling lower than Cuomo, but Eric is incumbent mayor. It's hard to ask incumbent mayor to drop out. So it's a tricky situation. Under all of the polls I've seen, and you've seen Zohran Mandami at Nan twice in the last month. He came out Saturday rally. I've seen he's way ahead, but it's still 3.5 months out, and we'll see. They're throwing everything at him they can, and we'll see. We've not made an endorsement, but I certainly don't think that this is a given. And even though I've known Eric for 35 years, I've said publicly and said to him, I'm troubled by the relationship with Trump. So we're going to see. But I think that if you continue to see the race of Mandami against Eric Adams and Cuomo and Sliwa, then it makes it all the more likely that Zohran Mandani wins.
Okay. Thank you for your time, bro.
But you know, on this show, we know who the real mayor is, Rodney Jones. All this is academic.
Love you, man. Thank you.
Love you. Let's go to Germany. You know, it's interesting about Germany. JT Trollinger and I, Jenny, was looking at the metrics of my Instagram. And, you know, these younger folks, I don't want to say young folks, it sound like old folks used to sound. And the metrics, we were looking at, you know, I've got like about 2 million followers on Instagram. But when you break the metrics down, they give you actually the countries. And 1.9% of my people that go to my Instagram page and watch me are from Germany, is in Germany. Because they take, some in Germany, more in England, which I'm not surprised about England because I go there once a year and lecture. But obviously, 79% are in the United States, but 2.8% is in the United Kingdom. 2.7% of the people go to my Instagram page in Canada, and 1.2% are in Germany. So I said, well, I know one of them. That's got to be Rick in Germany. Rick must be passing the word around. So let's go to Rick over in Germany. Rick.
I love it.
Good day, Brother Sharpton, and good day to the good lawyer, the sister lawyer, Miss Jennifer Jones Austin. I'm struggling. I'm brain damaged and poisoned by the CIA. So it's amazing that I'm able to talk to you today. But let me say about Germany, a lot of black folks who are militant and Afrocentric could pass by Germany. The rights that black folks have in Germany, they take for granted. But white Germans pay attention to what's going on in America. And they pay attention to more than just the militants and the militias and so forth and so on. They pay attention to more than just burlesque shows and rock concerts. I called today to talk about the Constitution. America is not a socialist country, even though presidents and the Congress have enacted socialist programs. America is not a socialist country, and middle Americans who are land-owning whites are about to get real selfish, real quick. It's not about Trump. It's about the people that support Trump, the rich at the top and racist middle Americans and racist Christian Americans. I'm done, folks.
All right, thank you for your call. Very interesting and very true. You know, one of the things I think that we need to really deal with, Jenny, is that we do not think globally enough. And if there's one thing that the generation or two ahead of me tried to get us to do, whether it was Dr. King dealing with Vietnam and being a Nobel Prize winner, whether it was Malcolm X, who spoke of this more than anyone, is to think globally. Because if you think globally in the global context, then you can affect the domestic. You cannot affect the domestic without dealing with the global. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton, be right back. What's that? Keeping it real. I don't know what's
Breaking news. The issues, the stories affecting you. Now here's the news from News1.com.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what we need to know. President Trump is seeing signs that his approval is slipping with black voters after notable gains with the demographic in last year's election. Recent polling suggests African American voters, already more disapproving of Trump than any other demographic group, have been souring on the president. Decision Desk HQ aggregates find more than 70% disapprove of his job performance, while around a quarter approve, putting him in one of the weakest positions with the group since returning to the White House.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, "The two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born." I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
Racial discord, a blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn. I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that called me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them. Now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
Hello, New Orleans. Let me tell you straight. They did not think we could come and be here tonight. They cut budgets and advertising, but one black man, Rich Newton, has said, I don't care. My families come together every 4th of July weekend, and Essence will happen, because that's who we are. Give a big hand to Rich New Dennis for bringing us back. Why do we come? Because the essence of who we are is essential to what made this nation. We built this nation. We made this nation. We created the essential dollars that this nation lives off of. We don't care what bill they pass. We will not back up. We will not back down. We will not give in. We will not be chased out. We don't care who's in the White House. We will organize our house by house. We came over the Middle Passage. We women, reclaim your dignity, reclaim your place. So we stand with the Black Economic Forum. We stand with Essence Magazine because that's who we are. So don't give in now. Yes, there's some rough days, but we've been through rougher days than this. Yes, Trump is a bad dude, but we beat badder dudes than Trump. So let's party with a purpose, because our rhythm and our music.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Attorney Jennifer Jones Austin is our co-host. Let me remind you, you're going to be surprised. I've got some very critical and important guests coming on Politics Nation this weekend. Make sure you tune in Saturday night and Sunday night, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. 5 p.m. both nights, two different shows. Politics Nation with Al Sharpton. I'll be live, and you're going to want to see it. We're dealing with the issues that are pertinent right now, and I've been on the phone booking some of the guests myself. Make sure you watch it. You that in the New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey area, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally. This Saturday is the birthday celebration for the late, great attorney Michael Hardy. We all going to be remembering Hardy, and I'm going to be laying out how we deal with these recent decisions by the Supreme Court and by the court that has now given churches the right to make endorsements. Be at the Saturday Action Rally if you're in the tri-state area. If you're not, you can watch it live on Impact Television or live stream at www.nationalactionnetwork.net or YouTube at NAN. You can watch it in any one of those platforms. Don't forget, I'm getting all kind of calls. People are coming from everywhere to the march on Wall Street, August 28th. Many of our labor leaders are now calling, bringing their members. Martin Luther King III and others joining us. The march we have had with tens of thousands in Washington on this day, we are now going to have in Wall Street because that's where the economic benefits are. And we'd call this march before the big, beautiful bill. Now we need it more than ever because who is going to reap while SNAP is cut, while the Medicaid programs are cut down? The people on Wall Street, the billionaires, those folks need to see us out there, thousands of us, nonviolent but firm. We're going to gather at 10 a.m. that Thursday, August 28th. It's Thursday, right, leading into Labor Day weekend. Most of y'all are getting a half a day anyway. And they'll be there on Wall Street. We'll be marching from the African Burial Ground right there to the Bull and have a rally, and you should be there. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, and put your name on the list so you can get the information, get the bulletins. Hit us back saying that there are buses near me. We have buses leaving from all over the country. I'm getting ready to jump on a national call, so I've asked Dominique Sharpton to sit in with Attorney Jones Austin and go through the calls and reading the messages on our message page until I come back. So, Jenny, I give you your niece, Dominique Sharpton.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Sister Jennifer. Always a pleasure to be on with you. I know we're going to have a great day. It's Policy Day. It's Thursday today, and so it's always a pleasure to be on with you, Sister Jennifer, one of our leading voices of our time, and thank you for your due diligence, for your leadership, for your sisterhood. I truly appreciate it.
Appreciate
and I
you.
love
Right
you.
back at you.
I love you back, and I feel like we need to advocate and vocalize that a lot more. Our sister
right.
energy
That's
is
right.
very important. And even as I was,
especially in these moments, right?
Yeah, and even as I was accompanying my father to the Essence Festival this past week, and just seeing all of the energy of our people come together in a celebratory, more celebratory realm, we got a lot to do and a lot of work ahead of us, and a lot of work that we really have to be focused on and really active in. But we also need to take our moments to lift each other up, to love on each other, to really be together. And so that sisterhood strength was definitely prominent and seen throughout the Essence Festival. And so I just wanted to give my sister a virtual hug because I don't get to often tell you how much I love you, but often get the opportunity on platforms like this to just remind you of your strength and your power and the influence that you have on women like myself. So thank you, Sister Jennifer.
I receive it all, and I give it back tenfold. Leah, look, we could spend hours here, me just talking about the gift of watching you and Ashley just, blossom, grow, and mature, and, just become forces in your own nature. The wonderful thing that, you have a father and a mother who are standard bearers, and, one might easily just kind of live in their presence and shadows and kind of live off of, but that's something that neither you nor Ashley have determined to do. And you've made your own places and you've created your own spaces, and you are leading and guiding and serving as an example. So I'm just love you beyond measure and learning from you.
Thank you so much. I know we have a lot of folks on, and it is Policy Day, as Reverend Sharpton mentioned, and we have Attorney Jennifer Jones Austin with us. So let's get back into it and go back to the phones. I do hear and see my sister Anita's holding on. Let me give that number again, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Join the conversation. Let's talk with Anita. Sister Anita is listening to us from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Anita, you're keeping it real. Good afternoon.
Hi to both of you.
Hi.
I like that she turned it back to you. Would you tell her 10 times or 50 times fold?
That's right.
I'm going to take it.
It talks about an ear of corn, how God said he multiplies it. And I can't think about what it exactly says, but I think it's like 100 or something. It was talking about an ear of corn and how you can multiply it. But when I find it, I'll let you all know. But what I wanted to say to you guys was Tillis was for kind of like he went against Donald Trump, and he's here in North Carolina. And I wanted to kind of invite Reverend Al to come here to North Carolina, and maybe we could protest nationally here in North Carolina. And then I wanted to say something about Eric Adams real quick, that I think he and Malcolm X and the Minnesota shootings are all related. Globally, we're not to have international commerce. We're supposed to be slaves in America. So Eric Adams, he spoke out for Turkey. He helped Turkey or was doing things with someone from Turkey, and Malcolm X was international with the Muslim community, and Minnesota was trying to help us inside of here with Tim Walsh. And I'm just really upset about what happened with the murders of the Minnesota people. I think that was a direct hit to the civil rights movement, and I'm really mad about Trump, allowing this kind of foolishness to go on. You don't argue to the point where you're oppressing people like that. But I want to say one more thing: the floods in Texas. It flooded here in central North Carolina again. We have a lot of hurricanes and things here, right? I think they said it was either just in the county that I'm in, which is Orange County, which is where the University of North Carolina is, that Michael Jordan played basketball in, the Tar Heels. Okay. I think they said this county dropped either 8.2 or 2.8 billion gallons of water on this last storm that come through Chantel. And then where I'm at in central North Carolina, we have 3 rivers: the Emu River, which is near Durham or in Durham, the Hall River, which is in called Chatham County, which is not far, and then we got the Cape Fear rivers. All of these rivers are within 15 miles of Chapel Hill. And they all, they said they had record flooding, cresting coming up, and I think they said 4 times the normal record that it, rose fast. So it was happening here in central North Carolina, which is a problem for me because it's been crazy since I've been here in the last 13 years. And one of the creeks that flooded in Chapel Hill is called Bowling Creek. I looked that up because it caused some houses to flood. I looked Bowling Creek up. Do you know they said the rock in this creek is, now, unless it's wrong, it says 625 million years old. I'm like, what? This is really, we need to study these things and still arguing with goofy people that's tearing up our environment and don't respect God, how powerful God is. If that's really true, and I talked to some residents here today, I guess they've been here for a while, and they said, yeah, one guy said that's probably true, and the lady said that place that flooded, she said, I was going to tell Reverend Al this because I'm concerned about housing. It's a black community. I guess all people rent there. But it floods every time it floods, just a little bit. And this time she said of 116 units, 68 of them flooded. And they continue to let this place exist. And they have poisonous snakes in this stuff, okay? Copperhead. I just want you all to understand the seriousness of how Trump is not important. There's some other stuff going on we need to be dealing with.
No, you're right. We got to leave it there, Anita, but you're absolutely right. And we need to pay attention to these things, especially as it relates to our climate and climate control and climate change. All of these things matter. And we've got to be more in tune with what's going on around us. So thank you for that, Sister Anita. I hear that music, Sister Jennifer. So we're going to take a break. It's Dominique Sharpton. I'm sitting in with Sister Jennifer Jones Austin. We're taking your calls across the country. 1-877-532-5797. We'll be back with more of Keeping It Real with Sharpton. We'll be right back.
Encourage us because where we are, we need guidance, we need direction. Reverend Sharpton, if you could please guide us and say a few words, because we just must. There's no way you're interviewing us.
Baku is so special to all of us, and what has happened this week, let me tell you, Baku and Rich Dennis and the rest will not tell you, against all obstacles, they said we're going to make this happen. I was here 31 years ago when Essence Music Festival started. I've spoken at every one for 31 years. They wanted to stop this. They ended DEI. But just because they ended DEI, we will not DIE. We are indebted to these sisters because they reconnect us. You are strong not by your branches, you are strong by your roots. And the reason that this will survive is the roots that they have brought us from the motherland. Tell us that we're stronger than the waters that we had to pass over. And if we go back to the roots, we can take the waves and the storms of the ocean. Because God brought us here to save the human race. And that's why we're here. God bless Baku. Bless you, sister. Bless Reverend Jasmine Crockett. And all of you that are here tonight.
be here tonight. They cut budgets and advertising, but one black man, Rich Newton, has said, I don't care. My families come together every 4th of July weekend, and Essence will happen, because that's who we are. Give a big hand to Rich New Dennis for bringing us back. Why do we come? Because the essence of who we are is essential to what made this nation. We built this nation. We made this nation. We created the essential dollars that this nation lives off of. We don't care what bill they pass. We will not back up. We will not back down. We will not give in. We will not be chased out. We don't care who's in the White House. We will organize our house, house by house. We came over the Middle Passage. We survived slavery. We survived Jim Crow. Don't you give up now. Don't you turn back now. Stand up, black man. Stand up, black woman. Reclaim your dignity. Reclaim your place. So we stand with the Black Global Black Economic Forum. We stand with Essence Magazine, because that's who we are. So don't give in now. Yes, there's some rough days, but we've been through rougher days than this. Yes, Trump is a bad dude, but we beat badder dudes than Trump. So let's party with a purpose, because our rhythm and our music reminds us who we are. Because we can smile through our pain and organize for our gain. Let's stand up and let's celebrate who we are. Thank you, God bless you.
Transition to coaching and running a basketball, president of operations of a major university like the University of New Orleans. So this is a blessing, and I'm thankful and I'm grateful, and I'm gonna lead our people and our culture to something that they've never seen, because this is about education. So education changed my life and saved my life, and to be able to be here with you guys, just let me know I'm just keep growing, and I'm on that process. I'm on that journey.
Well, we're proud of you. You've always been one that was more entrepreneur than entertainer, and now you have the official title. So we in the Civil Rights Leadership are proud of you. You always been a master to us. Now you're a master.
Girl, that's a few years. She said, yeah, okay.
All right. I'll see you around, Rev. Okay.
Let me know.
Okay, you got it.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online. www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.
You're live, sir. You're live.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I'm Dominique Sharpton, Reverend Sharpton's eldest daughter, sitting in with Sister Jennifer Jones Austin. We're taking your calls across the country on this policy day we call Thursday. Sister Jennifer, my father said, you know, if you see Percy Johnson hanging on the line, make sure you let him talk to Jennifer. So I want to bring on the line now an amazing activist. I don't know if I have had the pleasure of speaking with him on Keeping It Real, but I know that he's hanging on. Brother Percy Johnson, listening to us from Detroit, Michigan. How you doing? Good afternoon, my brother. And you're keeping it real.
How you doing? How you doing?
All
Can
right.
you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So I need my UAW members in the Detroit metro area that are listening, your retiree members, to call Region 1 and tell them they want to get on the bus to come to D.C. for the rally on the 28th. And I'm in New York. I'm sorry.
I was like, which rally you talking about?
Right, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry. I did say D.C. because we've been going there so much.
We've been going there, right?
This rally is going to be in New York. We're going from where we going from the African burial ground.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we?
We're marching from the African burial ground. We're meeting at 10 o'clock in the morning on August the 28th at the African burial ground. And we'll be marching to the Bull right there on Wall Street. So as you are talking so eloquently about this march, we want everyone to definitely be aware of it, to not only be aware, but to join us and be active in our collective unity as we will be standing together to bring forth a lot of these issues that we've been discussing and care so vehemently about.
So my UAW members, we have a free bus that we can get on.
All right now.
And I'm definitely challenging our retirees to reach and grab one of your grandkids, bring them on this trip. Mm-hmm. You know, this would be a great time for a lot of our grandfathers, grandmothers to grab their grandkids and get them involved in being civically engaged and participating in rallies like this. So we have a bus that will seat 55 individuals. I'm really hoping to fill it up, and I would really love to get at least 25 of our UAW members and get another 10 or 20 of our residential citizens to be able to get on too, where we can come together as a community and it can actually see how the UAW has always been involved when it comes to civil rights and standing for human rights and for labor rights. So we have been in all the past, previous, and the first rally that they had in D.C., and we've always participated in the ones after. So this is our chance to step and get involved. So let's show out in big numbers, and let's let people know we're not going back. We're going forward. We're making it so we can have human rights and civil rights and just living rights for everybody. And so, Dominique, I got another challenge. You know, we've been listening to individuals call. So I'm gonna give individuals a civic assignment, if you don't mind. And I know Jennifer appreciate this too. So I need individuals to pick out 3 concerns that you will want your elected officials to put on their platform. And for me, the 3 that I have, I want the same health care that our elected officials are getting, that we're paying for. They should provide it for our citizens in our state. We should have the same type of funding for health care that they're getting. So we need the same health care plan that they got, especially with them taking away the benefits from Medicaid. And now that they done took that away, so let's do it, let's redo it and do it right to where we're getting the benefits and the health care that our elected officials are getting for, that we're paying for. And they can do that. And then we also need to push that our public schools get refunded, and that our schools are getting, our public schools, and that every zip code has a great school where they're starting at not only at kindergarten, but they're starting at 3 years old. So our kids can start coming in and getting great education, regardless to what zip code they are in. Every zip code should have a thriving zip code where a kid can walk out of the school, walk out of their home, and walk into school where they're getting excellent education. And then last but not least, I want the George Floyd bill to get passed. It's time that our police serve us to protect us. And if anybody breaks the law, is not treating our citizens right, then they need to be held accountable, and the George Floyd bill would do that. So we need to get on the phones and call and see how these elected officials are responding. If they don't respond to that, then you need to get ready in 2026 to vote them out. If they're not in agreement with what I just asked for and what you asking for, you need to vote them out and put in the ones who will support what you want. It's time out that we sit back and wait for them to tell us what they're going to do. We need to tell them what we want from them.
That's right. Thank you so much, Brother Percy Johnson from Detroit. Thank you so much. And, you know, Sister Jennifer, as Percy was talking, I was just thinking about, because, you know, we have these conversations every day almost with so many people on the ground who just, you know, want information or need clarity or want to be involved, you know, from allies to our people to everyone. And so my question is, you know, what do you say, Sister Jennifer? I don't know if Brother Percy's still on, but what do you say to people who feel they just don't see the ramifications of what's happening policy-wise right now? They don't feel it. So they don't relate to it. It's like, okay, well, my Medicaid ain't been cut yet. So, you know, is this really real? Or, you know, I'm not really seeing the effect of what y'all talking about. It's not happening to me. I'm not feeling that. What do you say to people like that? Because there is a large consensus of people who have not literally, quote unquote, tapped in, right, to this. And it's because they don't feel the perils, they don't feel the weight, and they don't feel the ramifications of what has been, you know, put out there, what is happening. They don't really feel it. It hasn't hit, you know, home to them yet. So what do we say to those people?
So the first thing that people need to understand is that what happens when policies and laws are implemented at the federal government level, the state or the local level, very often it takes a little bit of time for those policies, those laws to actually be implemented and for you to experience the effects of it. So said differently, a lot of the job growth that occurred in America that Trump tried to take credit for happened under President Obama. A lot of people think that the health care benefits that they got came from Donald Trump when they were the Affordable Care Act, otherwise known as Obamacare, to people who don't like Obama, right? And so you have to think about these things taking effect sometime after they're actually passed or implemented, the laws and the policies. a lot of what Donald Trump is about to do or what he's done will actually not take effect until 2026. The reason being, he doesn't want you to feel your Medicaid is lost or your SNAP benefits are lost until after the midterm elections. So
very important. We're going to get back to that, Sister Jennifer, because I know you got some more to share and I got some more to hear. We're going to take this break. I'm getting to y'all on the phones that are holding on. You can also still comment on live stream, but we're going to take this quick break. 1-877-532-5797. We'll be back with more of Keeping It Real with Sharpton. We'll be right back.
Keeping it real.
This is an important...
Country, talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If He woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepped into the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God doesn't smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. One more time. I want to say, I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up. God has smiled on me. He's been good. Then I went on backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. I said, now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I went home and I told my mother what Brown told me. And she said, son, even though we don't have much, we don't need relief. All we need is belief. And she said, he didn't tell you no lie, because the Lord will take care of you. God sits high, but he looks down low. and look toward the heavens. Lift your eyes to the hills and say, God, 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 smile on me. Now then the God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. That has been so good to me. Yes, he has. I say, God smile on me. He has set me free. And I know all over the country, smile on me. We need jobs. We need a way to make it. We need help. We need jobs. We need a way to make some money to feed our families and raise our bread. We need a way to survive, so we don't need crime as a survival kit. We just need a little bit. But don't give the hope up. Don't lose the faith, because God will smile on you. God will give you the strength. God will make a way for you. Adam Clay Powell said, keep the faith. Keep the faith, baby. I hear Robert Kennedy saying that it's not the dream of, but it's the dream that'll live on forever. Just know that God will smile on you. Dr. King had a dream. Dr. King said, I went to the mountaintop, but I didn't stop there. I looked over and saw the promised land. I hear Brother Malcolm saying, don't sit on the stoop. Stand up and be a man. Respect yourself. Be somebody. Then I hear the brothers in the Hispanic community say, I'm going to stand up and be a man. I'm going to do the best I can. I had a reaper say, I don't care what time you come home, but just give me some respect when you get there. Now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Sit down. And as we move on in history, let us remember that if we look to God, God has the answer to all of our problems. God is still the same God he was years ago, and we can still make it. We can still hold on like Frederick Douglass did. We can still keep him on like Martin Luther King did. We can still ride on the way everyone that made it did. They didn't have much, but they had a whole lot of faith. They didn't have money, but they had a lot of determination. We know that God will look out for his children, that God will make a way out of no way. If you just keep the faith and refuse to lose, and God will make a way, because God's children don't have color. God's children just have will. And I can still hear somewhere in my mind James Brown say,
for Jones Austin, and we're taking your calls across the country on this Thursday's Policy Day. Sister Jennifer was answering this question before the break, and I want to hear a little more if she's got a lot to say about it, a little more to say about it. And then we do have some callers that are holding on. I also want to give a shout out to Sister Angela, who's online listening to us from Nacogdoches, Texas. Angela, I've been to Nacogdoches. I know exactly where you are. Got some family in Pineland, Texas. So when I saw that, I said I had to give her a shout out because I know exactly where you are. Thank you for listening, and thank you for tuning in. Sister Jennifer, people, like I said, people have been, asking rather, or not really feeling the ramifications of some of the policy work and some of the things that have been going on around policy and how it really disseminates to our community to really affect us and hit home. And so I was lending the mic to you to give us some information. Like, what do we say to these people who just feel as if they can't get involved or they don't really see the ramifications happening to them just as yet? And feel, hesitant in getting involved and being active in this fight.
Use Medicaid as an example. Mm-hmm. So under this new piece of legislation that is going to cut people off of Medicaid for, talking about at least, they're saying at least 11 million people or so. The Medicaid changes will not go into effect until after the 2026 midterm elections. So, there'll be cuts, for eligibility. People who have been eligible may no longer be eligible because of the income that they receive, or they may be considered what is termed able-bodied adults if they don't meet work requirements, meaning that they don't work sometimes for as much as 80 hours in a month, and people may have challenges working. The government has now said you've got to work. If they can't show that they've made an effort to do so, they won't be cut from the rolls until after the midterms. Now, this is strategic because what Donald Trump wants you to feel and believe is that, oh, they told you were going to maybe lose your Medicaid, but look, midterm elections roll around, Democrats are telling you you're going to be hurt, and you haven't felt any pain yet. So, you know what? Come on out and vote for the Republicans again. And then what will happen, they believe around December 2026, the midterms are in November, in December 2026, that's when these bill provisions are going to kick in. And so you'll vote for possibly a Republican in November, and then those people who actually cost you your Medicaid, you'll vote them back in, and then you'll lose your Medicaid in December. Things like child health insurance, same thing will be the case. You may see that changes around food supports will not go into effect until after the elections. So it's a game. It's a game that they play just the way he told you that he did not know anything about Project 2025 and that he wasn't signed on to Project 2025. It's Project 2025 that has cut out the U.S. aid that essentially is trying to stop FEMA, Federal Emergency Assistance, from being in place. It is the Project 2025 that has brought about the dismantling of the Department of Education and Civil Rights Enforcement, attendant to the Department of Education. It is Project 2025 that has cost a lot of federal employees their jobs, disproportionately black persons. But remember, Donald Trump told you he knew nothing about Project 2025, and he didn't sign on. And what do you know? There were better than 300 initiatives in Project 2025, and they've already implemented better than 100 of them. But he told you he knew nothing about it. So it's all a game. It's all a game. And what he's got you thinking is he knows nothing about this stuff. What you're warned about doesn't have any impact on you, and then lo and behold, you are affected by these things.
Don't sleep, people. Tanya online said we need massive support to turn this tide around. Voting, talking, and educating the masses of ill-informed voters. I agree with you, Tanya. Thank you for your comment online. Let's go to Todd listening to us from Cleveland, who's holding on to speak. Todd, you're keeping it real.
Hey, Dominique Sharpton, Jennifer Jones-Austin.
Hey there.
Jennifer, should we make some adjustments to the 14th Amendment in consideration of population control in the country?
You should know by now that you can't ask me questions like that. Just, there's some things that the lawyer in me, let me put to you this way.
Take a little
the lawyer
time.
in me always is thinking about, my daddy used to say, good leaders control for the consequences they intend, great leaders the consequences they intend and the ones they don't. And so some of these things, it's always a slippery slope. You open up the 14th Amendment, right, which focuses on citizenship, equal protection, and it also focuses on due process, like you can't be deported without a hearing, or you cannot be prosecuted without having, being able to present your case. The challenge when you get into things like this is that you open it up, and you could find a government like a Trump administration taking more rights from you. Because remember, constitutional changes don't just happen. They have to be certified. They have to be ratified. You could just find that it opens up a whole other, set of challenges. So I think we should take a look at it, but I don't know.
We should make some adjustments to it through the correct process, not through the process that's being attempted presently by the Trump administration. The 14th Amendment was made tight for me with the Wong Kim Ark case of 1898. So I don't get into the birthright citizenship being anything but what was agreed upon by the 6-2 decision in 1898. I don't agree with anything other than that. However, I am taking in consideration that there's 330 plus million people that are citizens in this country that live here right now, and there were 203 million when the closest census to my birth was done. And there's 9 billion people on the planet, and a lot of those people want to come here, not the majority, but a lot. And we are not receiving the tax money that we need to cover all the services that we want to cover according to our laws, not necessarily in the spirit of our laws, for the citizens that are here. So I believe that based on those things, we need to make some adjustments to the 14th Amendment. So it's not that easy to be considered a citizen of the United States and pull from our taxpayer-funded services. But we should go through a correct process, though. Where do you stand on that, Dominique?
No, I mean, I stand on the side of justice. I mean, I don't know what you think. I stand on the side of justice. No, but I think you, and we got to go with this one, Ty, but I think you are spot on with a lot of your analysis. And like Sister Jennifer said, I mean, I'm not a lawyer or an attorney, but like Sister Jennifer said, we definitely have to, pay critical attention to these things because they affect us. And we're not going to, we may not necessarily understand or see it immediately, but over time it will. And so we have to stay involved and knowledgeable and involved. Essentially, that's what we got to do, so that these things we can start defining for ourselves, and we can continue to move forward. So thank you, Ty, for that, and thank you for always keeping it real. Tyrone is holding on from Atlanta. I want to get him in, Sister Jennifer. Tyrone, you're keeping it real. Good afternoon.
Look like we lost Tyrone.
Tyrone, we lost. Okay, let's try to get in Minister Sim.
7 and 2.
Minister Sim from Virginia. You're keeping it real.
Reverend Sharpton, Attorney Jennifer, and Sister Dominique.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
I'm so glad I've been holding on. I've been holding on for a long time. I got so much to say, but I'm going to keep it brief. I'm a minister out here in Virginia, and I understand when you said that policies aren't affecting people as of right now, and it may not be until 2026 before they feel it. But some of us are feeling it now, especially through the educational system. There are policies being made for our children, especially children of color and children with disabilities. Their education is being robbed from them by predatory attorneys, and our government is allowing this. Me and a group of advocates, especially one advocate, shout out to Dr. Candace Lucas. She's a warrior. They've been attacking her, attacking me, because we won't back down. They're coming at our children because if they can dummy us down at a young age, then our country can be a dictatorship. And we have to fight for our democracy. It is severely under attack. We are losing our educational rights, our Medicaid, SNAP benefits, human rights, civil rights. They're trying to roll back desegregation. Due process is a thing of the past. And I just want people to wake up and understand that there is stuff going on behind these closed doors that you would not have a clue at. We're working with lawmakers to try to change the law. We have formed committees that are changing things in the educational field. Think about it. When Trump got up for his reelection, the main thing he said, he wanted to shut down the Department of Ed. I don't totally disagree with him, but I do disagree with him because of the fact I don't think it needs to be shut down. I think the criminal activity needs to be removed from it, and that there needs to be people that want to do the right thing and the righteous thing. The Bible tells us for much is given, much is required. God gave us our civil rights through Dr. Martin Luther King and other activists, and we're just sitting here idle watching them slip away. And if we don't get up and do something, the attack on blacks, which is going on every day now, you see Karens, especially Karens, attacking black females, black males. We have to stand up and understand that power is in the people. It used to be anyway. If we don't go out and vote, all that they did to secure our rights during the era of Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X and all those who got up and fought for us, it's slowly slipping away because we have this ideology that it doesn't matter if we vote or not. It does matter. That's how we get our voice heard. We can't get our voice heard if we don't go to where they are. We have to go to where they are. We have to talk to lawmakers. We have to let them know what we demand of them, that we want our democracy to be intact. And 2025, Project 2025 is real. The administration we have now knew exactly about it. They were part of it, and we're feeling the brunt force of it. But we must stand up. We have to wake up. And
Amen.
We have to wake up now.
Thank you, Minister Sims. We got to leave it there. I hear that music. We got to get up out of here. Thank you to Sister Jennifer Jones Austin. As always, keep up the great work. And I love you. Thank you to those who called in and got through, shared their comments, and also those online who shared their comments via live stream. Remember, Politics Nation with Al Sharpton is on every Saturday and Sunday afternoon on MSNBC live at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Y'all don't want to miss it. And this Saturday Action Rally, you want to beat us there, meet us there, you want to tune in, but Reverend Sharpton will be there. It'll be live at 9 o'clock a.m. on Impact Television. And as Reverend Al says to everyone, remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, and however you feel, make sure you tell someone. Reverend Al done told you, Dominique is telling you now, Sister Jennifer tells you all the time, you gotta keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. We'll talk with y'all tomorrow.